Here is a Technics CD player, and it has a no line fuse in it for overcurrent protection, and it is UL listed. So we unscrewed the power transformer, and we took a drill and we broke this run here because that's where it goes to the power transformer. And we're going to use a solder pump, and we're going to unplug these two holes. We're going to use some light gauge wire used for electronics. Okay, we're going to strip our ends here. Twist our strands together real nice and tight. And guess what? The wire is not going to fit. So we're going to see if this wire will fit. This is a solid wire and it's a lighter gauge. Yes, this will fit. So we will use this instead. So we'll put our two wires in the hole here. We'll get the insulation down flush with the board. Now we can turn it over to solder it. This is a rosin core flux. You can buy this at Radio Shack. I'm going to put a little flux on each one. So I put the solder in the flux. I put it on So I will solder these two wires into place here. There, I get a nice little flow of solder, a nice circle around the hole, just what I want. This one is kind of shallow, so I'm going to add a little more. I'm going to put some flux on there. There we go, we got some flux on there. Now we'll get a nice, there it is, a nice little mound, and it evens off when you get up to the top. Now we'll clip the excess solder off, or not the solder, the excess copper wire just above the solder joint. And there's the two solder joints close up. You can see how they're nice clean connections. Okay, now we're going to put this board back in place. So we're going to bring this wire back over out of the way. I want to get down below the switch. I want to make sure the switch does not hit it. And this one I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to come over here. Now the one wire is going to come around. It's going to go back over here. Okay, so we're ready to solder this first wire in. I'll take my pliers and squeeze that part down. I'll bring that part up, see how it makes a nice little shape there to go onto the connection. Okay, then we'll add some flux here. I put some solder on my iron, and I'm going to heat the terminal and the wire. That came out kind of grainy, so I'm going to put a little more flux on there while it's hot, and the flux will melt better, and I'll just reheat that whole thing again. There it is. See how nice and full that solder joint is? It goes all the way around. It's nice and shiny. Okay, now we're going to set this in place where it's going to be. And now I can cut the other wire. Get the same amount off. I'll go in the hole there. I'll take my pliers, I'll squeeze that end down, and I'll bring the other piece up. See how it makes a nice flat mounting place there. I'll put some flux on it again, like we did with the first one. And again, I'm going to heat the terminal and the wire. That's a little grainy, so I'm going to get a little more flux on here. Get it right on there. And I'll heat that again. I'm heating both the terminal and the wire. There's a nice shiny solder joint. And I'll let that cool a little bit so I can mount it. Now before I showed you these fuse blocks, these brass pieces here that hold the fuse, there's rivets on the bottom. So I take a piece of PVC spacing, and they use this on electronic stuff, and it like separates the possibility of the wires arcing, or the voltage arcing to the metal chassis. So we put the screw down through there. I'll get this nice and straight so it looks good. I'll hold the top here with the the Phillips screwdriver. I'll go down here on the bottom and I'll tighten that nut up. Okay, now we're ready to put our wires back down into place here. I'm going to make sure there's no sharp edges because it could poke through the insulation and create a problem. So you got to be careful with your wire dress. Make sure it's out of the way of any moving parts or anything that's sharp. And now we'll put our 1/2 amp fuse in. Okay, now we can screw the transformer down. This is a magnetized screwdriver, so I don't have to worry about losing the screw inside. And our last step, the part that turns it on and off slides back in here in front. That does me like this. That snaps in like that. And this snaps in over the switch. Now I'm going to look down here and make sure and that clears the switch. The wire's a good 1/4 of an inch from the switch, so everything is good to go, and thanks for watching.